Some Black Thought said to me one day, I was like telling him I was stuck, man. Like, I ain't been really writing, blah, blah, blah. He was like, nigga, you done earned yours in this. Just rap.
Yeah.
Just rap.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, it sounded so simple, but it meant a lot because it made me think about, man, I like to rap.
I started with the beat, and it's a Brazilian sample, and when I heard it, the guy was singing over it, but I have this thing where I could just take his vocal out, and what I heard was amazing. And that's what made me make the beat. Once I made the beat, I put the sample back in there. I said, I don't know if he's gonna like that, but I'll send it to him. And then he made it what it is.
I couldn't tell what it was saying because it's a Brazilian record, but for some reason it made me think of fortunate, like, because it's like, no, the fortune.
It sounds like a little bit.
Like he could be saying fortune, but for me, I thought about it as fortunate. I was like, this is something I really want to talk about because gratitude and just being grateful for where you are is like the beginning of life. It's the beginning of my everyday.
When I heard comment on this, it blew me away because I felt like it was the perfect puzzle piece. It gives you like that summer, vibe. And so I said, this is a match made in heaven, and I'm glad it came out the way it did.
I'm fortunate to be alive. Can't explain how I got here, but we've arrived. I started that because I just got a call that a friend of mine was murdered. It was weighing on me and I was in the studio. I just thought about like what life is. I get calls from friends like that are dealing with health issues and different stuff, and we losing loved ones and all this going on in the world. I kind of wanted to start with that line to just as an affirmation, man, like this is gratitude right here. I'm fortunate to be alive. The deliverance and diligence from which we strive. It's the feeling, it's no ceiling is when we rise. Fortunate to have friends who don't synthesize. These people that I've known throughout my life, they don't give me that fake shit. Like if I'm playing them some music, they not gonna just be like, oh, that's dope. Like one of my good friends is always calling this movie Just Right. I mean, he calls it Just Wrong because he said my acting was that bad in it, which I'm like, hey, people like that movie, so shut up. But anyway, I appreciate the authenticity in my friends, and it's a very important component to who I am. I keep good company, we enterprise. Had a strong gaze since infant eyes. I guess I could see the power in the prize. Incentivized by the streets I identified. Other people's struggles I don't minimize. Fortunate to be born and raised in the Chi. I think Chicago gave me what it is to be a warrior, what it is to be Black and intelligent, what Black excellence is, what it is to be true to you, because you got to be yourself. You're going to get called out on it. You're going to get exposed. Salt of the earth people with the bravest eye. They say your God is the truth. I wasn't raised to lie. Fortunate to be so que sera. Every day that I get up, I trace the sky and draw with the Most High on the place that I am, and that's fortunate. When I'm waking up, the first thing that I'm doing is thanking God, like no matter how I'm feeling, because sometimes you wake up and you're not feeling great. You feel like it's something feel funny or something, but I'm just really starting with gratitude and saying thank you. Then I go into a prayer of thanks, and I'm thanking God for all the things that, whatever I feel for the day, it might be, coming to genius, I'm saying what I'm thankful for. Fortunate for the breath of life and the breath of the Lord through Reverend Wright. I went to a church in Chicago, still am a member of a church called Trinity United Church of Christ. The motto was unapologetically Black, unashamedly Christian. Reverend Jeremiah Wright was a leader, a true leader, and taught us about, God, but he was teaching us like about Black and being empowered. And I didn't grow up all the way with my father. His sermons were fathering me in certain ways. Fortunate in my house ain't a desperate wife. I studied life so I could test the mic, the laboratory of a rapper story. From the alley to the allegory, I pour a rhyme into time, let it travel for me. The one with self is the biggest battle for me. Fortunate when I was 12, I let rap allure me. Fortunate through the wilderness, I see the trees. In the forest, there's a lot of fallen MCs. 12 years old is when I wrote my first rap. I'm super grateful that I sat in that room with my cousin Ajale and wrote this rap, because it led me to my whole path and who I am. And I see it's a lot of MCs that didn't continue to make it or follow their dream. I'm just saying I'm grateful to be here, rhyming and rocking with Pete Rock and somebody paying attention to my rhymes, man. That means something to me. Fortunate that the God shared the lessons. He returned to the essence. I still feel his presence. Most of my brethren are from 87, childhood friends. I'm glad that I kept them. Fortunate for the wisdom of the elders and my grandmother and mother's love that never failed us. I'm fortunate. The wisdom of the elders is something that I abide by because I feel like, I know that the elders have had experiences. They have the wisdom. The ancestors also are something that I believe speak through us and speak to us. And my grandmother and mother's love, I grew up with my mother and my grandmother. They were the foundation. My grandmother was always helping me when I was really young, walking me to school. She took me to Disney World one time. My grandmother just gave me that love, man. Fortunate I was raised around my Uncle Steve and my Uncle Charles. They both told me believe the seeds of a revolutionary. Evolution's very necessary to become fruits and berries of our labor. Told to search for a savior. Fortunate I had a chance to raise her. Man, I really see in my daughter this human being that has the capacity to be God-like, because she is, to be spreading love and leading herself and others, to be an example of what God's love is. And to me, all those things are qualities of a savior. When I give up good bars, she like, yeah. But she loved the ones that say something about her, just like on that level. In the days of the unknown, I'm fortunate to come home to blocks we fought and swung on. Fortunate the Lord put me on the path to use the microphone for a ride and a staff. Fortunate that my heart and the beat knocks the Windy City street bop. I'm fortunate for Pete Rock, I'm fortunate. For me, like what makes Pete Rock so special is when he says soul brother number one, he's the essence of that. Like when people hear the word soul, it's like it's only one Pete Rock in the world. The creator, God created one Pete Rock. He created one of all of us.
Yeah.
And tapping into that self and knowing thyself in that way, and knowing thyself as a person and as a creator is what allows it to be only one Pete Rock.
What's special about Common is everything he's about. He's about the hip hop. He's about rhyming. He loves to rap, and then the skill, his flow, his cadence, everything like that. The voice is all like 100%.
I also want to say that I'm fortunate for Bilal. I had Bilal come sing the part Fortunate, and I want to just say how Bilal is one of the dopest vocalists of many generations. He's one of the greatest I've ever heard. He can sound like a sample.